Podcast, you might have seen it when it was there. Hello, viewers. Did you like the word search?
You caught me. You caught me texting somebody.
Oh, is it breaking news or nothing?
No, I'm just seeing if anything embargoed has happened as we've come on air.
Liz is quick off the draw. Welcome to the podcast, by the way. I think have I moved the laptop further away, or do we? I don't know.
I think I'm getting smaller. If that was indeed possible.
Welcome to the podcast, Forty20 live. I get paranoid that because we haven't got a proper studio like those people with wood panels and TVs and stuff, and we've got like a cat on the table and stuff. I get paranoid. I know, but people might think this is not a proper podcast, but it is.
What's Liz noticed?
Kyle Felt.
Yes.
I thought he'd done his ankle properly.
Did you?
Yeah. So
I thought maybe the mitigating circumstance might have been that, you know, just taken a finger in his eye or something like that.
Dangerous bubbles.
No contact. No.
Kyle Felt set to be announced as a stuntman after his fabulous dive at Lyon Friday. You get Tom Daly involved.
Which was worse, his or Harry Smith's?
I've not seen Harry Smith's.
Have you not seen it?
It's Wigan versus Castleford.
No, that was the Hull KR one.
Oh,
when Mikey
yes,
didn't hit
course.
Him. Is it creeping into our game?
Well, it is, isn't it? And this is where people say, "Oh, referees are all rubbish." Players trying to con them all the time. So
laying in the rock.
Yeah.
I was going to start tonight.
Ian says he took a slight knock. That's Saints fans, you know. Tonight,
he took a slight knock from the Saints fans.
What are we starting with tonight?
Well, I know it's apples, pears, bananas, oranges, cheese, chalk. We're not the NRL.
We are not the NRL.
That's true. By association, it's rugby league.
It is rugby league.
I think I saw on Sunday morning a generational game of rugby league. One of the greatest 95 minutes I have ever seen in terms of incident, controversy, skill, sin binning, reversing decisions. And at the end of it, I just thought, we've got to latch onto this somehow. We've got to tell the world that what we're watching over here is still a version of rugby league. Yeah. It might be slightly different in the way it looks, and it's the athletes that play it over there. But for anybody who hasn't seen the game between Canberra and Brisbane in the playoffs, bearing in mind this is first versus fourth, so they got a second chance anyway. The intensity that they went at it, and that's just the headbutts. I don't think I've seen a game like it for drama. If you've not seen the highlights, they're out there. It was sensational. Reece Walsh, one of the most spectacular players on the planet of any sport, and a result that just was unfathomable on so many different occasions.
Assuming he's on the tour.
Well, I'd like to think he would be, because he's the kind of player that people over here should be paying to go and watch.
We need to get him on every TV programme, because people don't know who he is. This is the funny thing about the Darren Lockyer buying London thing. People, it's all right us saying, oh, it's great, it's exciting, Darren Lockyer's buying London. No one knows who he is. People don't know who he is. So we need to make sure people know.
I think the transaction's gone through. But I just, for those who love rugby league, it doesn't matter whether you support Canberra or Brisbane. It doesn't matter whether you had a vested interest or whether I fell off my armchair because I do like the team that won. It was just everything you love about why we keep going on about this sport is the one for us.
Yeah.
And you go, well, how do I define to people that don't understand it or don't know it what is good about it, what's exciting about it? And there were 3 or 4 NFL games last night on the Red Zone that were really close, and there was one that went into overtime, and all. We had a sporting event on Sunday morning our time that ranks with the very best, and it's another debate about whether the NRL should invest in Super League or whatever it might be. We need to ally ourselves with the fact that that's going on over there, and they'll be coming over here in October and November, and a lot of those players who play for Canberra and Brisbane are young superstars of our sport.
It would be very useful if the NRL could just send these clips to the BBC and say, put them on your website. I know it's late in the season, but they do that with the basketball, they do that with the NFL, and just get these clips on there, because that's where people will see them. And
the clips are there because the NRL are really good, NRL.com, at putting the highlights out within minutes of the game finishing. So there's 6 or 7 minutes of highlights of that game. Find it, spread it, tell your friends, tell people you don't even like. This is what our sport is all about.
But in the
I don't want to spoil it.
No. However, they could meet again in the grand final, can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's hopefully, fingers crossed. With Teddy Swims doing the songs.
I have no idea.
No. I did mention it on the radio earlier.
Is it Emmy award winning Teddy Swims or something? I mean,
Grammy.
Apparently he's good.
Yeah.
But
who's doing our grand final?
Swimmy Teds. Well, you had somebody last week I'd never heard of.
Yes, CMAT. There's someone pointed out that was a great reference for the younger listeners, because we do have some apparently.
Oh, do we?
And hello to David, who I saw yesterday at the Leeds York game, who came up and introduced himself to me.
Hello, David.
It's a problem with being a recognisable figure. We should do this podcast without pictures.
with a bag over our
head. We don't know who's going to do in the grand final yet. So,
no. But if Reece Walsh, Pat Carrigan, Ethan Strange are coming over, let's start getting to know how good they are now and introducing people to this is what you may see at Wembley. And
with the England players as well.
Yeah.
Rather than here's a clip of some old people telling us, which is great. I'm not saying the content's good. The people who've played in the past telling us how great these games are is great.
Yep.
That's good. But also let's push the stars.
This would appeal to a new audience. Yeah. So I just thought we'd start with that. Not here advocating that the NRL is better than Super League, not making any comparisons whatsoever, just saying this is our sport at its best.
Yeah, but I've got some breaking news from Super League. Betfred Super League 12-team attendance record. The 2025 Betfred Super League season is set to break the all-time cumulative attendance record for a 12-team competition. This is set, can't speak, in 2008, which is good because next year we won't have 12 teams, so that's good. So that'll be a record that will be set for 3, 4, 5 years until we get rid of another couple of teams again.
Well, or we go to 20 in 2 conferences of 10.
So that's exciting. And 9 teams have applied to be in Super League.
Or, more importantly, 3 teams haven't.
Yeah, and 12 teams will be in on one system. But, let me read this press release as well, jeez.
So, for those who don't know, that 12 teams expressed an interest of being included in... and North Wales Crusaders, who did express an interest, clearly have decided that even if they put in an application, it's probably too soon for them.
So this came from Super League, RL Commercial, this morning, lunchtime. And this is important because people need to know how the process works.
Yep.
Right. The first 12 positions will be determined by the club grading process.
Yep.
As for the 2025 season, which is what we've got already.
Which means that the Salford not being in it will allow a team that is in the Championship currently to be 12th and automatically included.
With the panel to decide whether there are sufficient strong applications to add another 2 clubs to form a 14-team competition in 2026. What if there's only one then? Because that suggests that we wouldn't go to 13.
There'll be 14.
Well, I know, but it says
because if we only have 12, we have to go back to loot fixtures.
Oh, we hate loot fixtures.
And they are the entire reason why there's anything wrong with Rugby League at the moment.
Just for the people who want to know who's on the panel, because they might have forgotten. Lord Kane, he's in the magazine.
Well, the panel's in the magazine. The process is in the magazine.
Well, not really though. Lord Kane will chair the panel, joined by 2 fellow non-executive RFL directors who are proper Rugby League people, because that's what Kevin Nicholas said.
Proper people.
Abby Okoku and Dermot Power, plus Tony Sutton, who's leaving.
But obviously he's been involved.
He could go on this panel there if I'm leaving a job, and I think if it was me, because
I'd be saying
git.
I'm going to vote for North Wales Crusaders, whether they've applied
and the
or
Pyongyang
not.
Pylons, yes, they're in. But he won't do that
because he's an honourable man.
Yeah. Whereas I'm not. The RFL's interim head of legal, Graham Sargent.
I know Graham. Helped set up Leeds Ackies.
That's good. But he's interim head of legal. Is that a job that's been offered to people? Is that like the RFL CEO role where we're going to do a worldwide search and appointment?
Who knows who could even possibly come back as head of legal? Who knows?
RL Commercials Managing Director Rodri Jones, we know him, and Peter Hutton. Oh, we know him. He was on the podcast once.
We know him very.
Who is the Senior Independent Non-Executive Director of Rugby League Commercial. And also Super League Brackets Europe board member. Is
Super League's Bracket Europe, unless we throw Catalan out and don't put Toulouse in.
Where does Super League Brackets Europe stand in the whole... Where does it fit in the whole puzzle?
Well, they look after the currently 12, soon to be 14 Super League teams. Because Super League can determine how many clubs they want in their competition.
But they don't send me any emails because they all come from our... What do they do?
I don't know. But I do think this will be possibly the last time Rugby League Commercial is undertaking a venture before it's brought back in-house.
Right. I should also say the Dream Team will be announced on Sunday. So look forward to
8 o'clock in the evening.
In the middle of the Leeds and Wigan and Leeds women's semi-final. So that's good time, isn't it?
And we hopefully may even be doing some broadcasts from the launch of the Dream Team next Monday. Yeah,
I don't know. We'll get something there. I don't know who we're going to
speak to.
Will we
be coming back in and doing the show? Or
I think so.
We're going to do the show from there.
Will they let us be there for hours? I don't know. We'll work it out.
We'll go to Gravely's Fish and Chips and do it from there.
Have you seen the prices?
No. Or is that a match day prices?
Oh, that's true.
We could go to Subway.
Subway, yeah. Try and get in upstairs just to...
urban
explorers.
Go and claim our microphone.
Yeah, dartboard. Why is play acting coming into Rugby League, asked Chris? Because players are... Where's the Players' Union to come and crack down on it?
It's anything to gain an advantage in professional sport.
Has Phil an insight what the ingredients of Reece Walsh's toilet water were? Because if you do, we all need to be on it, because obviously it works.
He was absolutely sensational. He, by the way, for those that are concerned that obviously he got sin-binned for an alleged headbutting, he's just been fined. He's available for the next game.
Walsh has 500,000 followers on Instagram. Most are not rugby fans. We need to raise the profile of our players. We do. It should help if they spoke to the media more, but that's another matter for another day. Or not.
Walsh is a potential sporting superstar like Ilona Maher in women's rugby union. Doesn't really matter if she plays rugby union. She's got people tuning in saying, Ilona, give me some content. Reece Walsh is the same.
As Wigan haven't tried to sign her. Just, obviously she can't play because the deadline's gone. I assume there's a transfer deadline in Women's Super League. I don't know.
I wouldn't have thought there was because it's not a professional competition.
I'm not sure there was in the Wheelchair Super League because someone played for a club this week and they haven't played for them before, so I don't know. And Neil says the sound's rubbish. Is the sound rubbish or not, listener? Tell me on the chat. So that's the politics news for this week, I think.
Some clubs are announcing people who are not going to be playing for them in the future. Most of whom
legends,
we know.
All legends.
As we come up to the last home game or the awards for each individual club, we'll be going, thank you very much for your loyalty. Here's a voucher for Topshop.
I still can't believe the Liam, what's his name, signing for Warrington took all year to be announced. From Wigan.
Oh, Liam Byrne.
Yeah. I wanted to say it was Liam Byrne, and I thought, isn't that the name of a former former cabinet
weren't
minister?
We told that at the season launch?
Yeah, that's what really confused me about it. It's just bizarre.
Well, I think it's going to become quite obvious again from players being released. You know, Jack Ashworth moving to Castleford.
Yes.
Good luck for the month that he won't be able to play for them. I think is it James Bell and James Batchelor going to Hull, we believe, from St Helens.
You're asking me as if I know anything. I don't know anything.
John Bennison rumoured to be going to York.
Super League ready York.
I think Widner's might be interested in him as well.
Well, they had him on loan, didn't they? Until Saints pulled him back and then made him 19th man or whatever. Not even 18th man. 19th.
Talking of 18th men.
18th man, yes.
Because we don't do any of this in any sort of order or even running order.
Can I just say something positive about Warrington first before we lay into them?
No, I'm not going to lay into them. I'm just...
Well, we will do. But...
Oh, do we have to?
No, but Kevin's on and he's a Warrington fan.
Can he hear us?
Well done. He can. Well done on reaching the Academy Grand Final and the Reserve Grand Final.
Absolutely. Reserve Grand Final Saturday 2:30 at Headingley, I think.
I could go to that. I'm not going to do. Well done to them on doing that. Now what they need to do is promote some of those young players into the first team squad, because hopefully they'll be good enough if they've got through to the Academy Grand Final.
They've got a young standoff who is definitely good enough, and I think because he chose to play in the Academy semi-final, he wasn't with the first team at Hull.
Because he could have been the 18th man.
Well, how bizarre that in a Super League game, albeit without much riding on it for the visitors, they turn up without an 18th man. And their opposition, Hull, use their 18th man because there's an incident in the game where the 18th man becomes eligible. So Warrington, who picked someone as their 18th man who didn't get on the coach to go to the game.
Because he was ill. I won't do the air quotation marks because people would take that as...
But he wasn't there.
No.
But he was still named on the team sheet.
Why?
Bizarre. When you think the 18th man could have been called into play.
They must have had somebody else. They don't just take 18 players.
No, you don't.
Because we know that happens.
You name a 21-man squad, don't you?
Yeah, because we know that happens from time to time. Where players get injured in the warm-up.
Why would you
bring
put
in someone outside the 20?
And you don't put your team sheet into the referee until you've arrived at the ground. Because anybody who's sick on the bus, you've got an opportunity still to check. So
dodgy burger.
Why did they put on their team sheet as the 18th man someone who didn't, for whatever reason, get on the bus?
I was going to say no one would sign Matt Duffy after this, but of course they will, because everyone always gets signed from somewhere. I feel like if Jake Connor's in the dream team, I need to apologise to him for saying on the podcast that I thought it was a strange move from Leeds, because obviously he's proved everyone wrong. But that depends if he's in the dream team or not. And I'm sure he couldn't give a toss what I think.
Or whether he's in the dream team, to be honest.
But I feel like I need to apologise. Well, I've done it now on the programme, so it's in the same place. It's like when the newspapers print an apology down there somewhere where they've libelled someone.
I don't think you're alone in thinking that he may not have been an ideal fit.
But it's all worked out well, hasn't it?
Well, his value increased by not playing this week.
So well done to Warrington's Academy, and well done to... I don't... Yeah. Why do it that way? If you take him... It doesn't make any sense. Nothing about Warrington's first team makes any sense whatsoever. We're back in the... Because Saints lost again at the weekend. We're back in the Paul Wellens' rubbish phase of things. And now... But he's, you know... But there's still no major criticism of the coach of the team.
No, I think the criticism of Paul Wellens is justified in the sense of we're now at round 27 of a 27-round competition, and nobody, including him, seems to know what his best selection is. That seems to be a bit late in the season to be trying to decide that. We don't know what external factors maybe being at play here. We don't know if Tristan Saylor has to play because he's on a huge amount of bunts, and you've got to find a place for him in the team. But it does seem to be that he doesn't know what his spine is. That's not new. I think Sky spent 20 minutes discussing that before the game. But again, it was proved in the performance that it perhaps doesn't work at the moment.
It's all very strange. Is there any more news apart from just people retiring?
I'm sure there is.
But I can't remember if it. I'll tell you what I will tell you about. I went to Batley on Saturday. Which
Did you?
Never been to before. Had a lovely sausage roll. I think it was by Higgs. So,
I think it will have been.
So
pie and peas.
Pick up the Higgs. If you want to send us some sausage rolls, you know where we are.
We did run an advert for them in a magazine.
Yeah, because we're not. We have advertisers on the podcast, but we don't have sponsors.
Do. So possibly in Spanish if you're in Spain.
If you want to sponsor us, yeah. Gonna need to bring a euro next week. If you're, if you want to send us sausage rolls, because we will eat food even though you're not supposed to.
Food's good.
So I had a lovely sausage roll. I didn't realise how big the slope was, because for some reason I've never been to Batley's ground before, the Foxes Biscuits Mega Arena. My mum was there. She was very impressed by the stadium. She said it's much better than Featherstone. So that's upset all the Featherstone people. That was my mum who said that, and not me. But it is better than Featherstone.
Well, the food is great. The atmosphere there is good.
They've got. We noticed where they've put the truck, which is a stage. They can have things on after, unless it rains a lot.
There's a feel that it's got modern enough facilities to cater for the.
If Huddersfield had decided to take the game against Wigan there, they might have won because they've been going down the slope and they wouldn't have scored in the last minute.
But there's still a nostalgic feel about it. It is one of only 3 foundation grounds. And the 9 oil now is not quite as steep as it once was, but you still said it was. It was one hell of an incline.
Much more. Having the other famous one is Featherstone, isn't it? Which is nowhere near.
Not even in comparison.
But Batley's a very hilly place. I used to work there.
So I feel quite guilty now. We haven't got Foxes biscuits. We've got ton of.
Well, they've not sent us any. So
we're back with the not the caramel wafer, but the tea cake.
But it was some Yorkshire Junior finals. There's so many finals. Continuation cups of
what age?
Under 14s, because I stole my nephew's trophy for an Instagram photo.
Did you put beer in it?
No, I'm sorry, it's got holes in it.
You can't drink it,
but they, Loch Lane Spartans. I don't know why they've given the team a name, but they have beat Heworth in the final of the Yorkshire Cup 8-6, which was quite an exciting game because it was 8-6. But I thought Heworth, on all things, were the better team on the day, but they did not win. So,
which happens in cup finals.
Well done. Like Warrington at Wembley.
Exactly.
So well done to Heworth. They were good. Well done to Loch Lane.
Was your nephew man of the match?
No. He was the hooker, number 9, and I can't remember what his name was. Lewis something or other. But he's on Cass's books, and he looked. I like watching St Helens because you watch St Helens women, and Katie Mottersed's a proper number 9, and he's a proper number 9. Big mop of ginger hair, and he was the man of the match. Decided we just talked about the finish of Brisbane and Canberra,
which was astonishing.
Now this is Rowan Smith has got a lot of things to answer for, and this is one of them. Short dropout, didn't go 10. Last kick of the game from Heworth as well, and it was a penalty.
Well, it isn't a penalty anymore.
Well, it must have been offside or something. So there was a penalty.
But they changed the rule, which is why more people are doing short dropouts. It's just a tap, but I mean you're still in a very vulnerable position.
Well, they did something that was illegal anyway. So and no one moaned about the penalty, so and they kicked it from the post and won. So well done to Loch Lane. I didn't see any of the other games, so I can't really tell you much about them. But what I can tell you is the game before, which we got in about half time, there was a bit of pushing and shoving on the touchline at one point because people had been dragged into touch because people like that. Do parents need to go and drink beer at 11 o'clock in the morning at a kid's final?
Well, go to Leeds Bradford Airport at 5 in the
morning.
Well,
that's also true.
Adults drink beer whenever beer is available.
Yeah. But well done. Thumbs up for Batley. And we'll talk about the women's game.
But again, it can be a fantastic asset in its community and staging. I've been to such finals for Yorkshire Juniors before and have got into trouble for putting beer into an under-16 cup. But it was a fabulous day out. There and Featherstone are great venues for young kids on a journey to deciding whether they might want to be or are good enough to be semi or fully professional rugby players, to get a taste of what it's like to play at a big ground.
And like Wembley, you go up some steps to get your cup,
Which is lovely.
Which
Who presented it?
I'm not sure.
They didn't ask you as the celebrity in the audience.
No, thankfully I wasn't. Wasn't recognised.
Were you not recognised?
No. So that was good. Next week we'll be telling you about the Air Force versus the Navy, which is coming up on Thursday at Bellevue, which I'm very excited about seeing.
Right.
And I've been in touch with the combatants, and hopefully we'll get some interviews from that as well. Because I don't know anything about how rugby league fits into being an Air Force person or a Navy person.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they do all day. I don't know what they do. Because obviously they're not all fighting at the minute.
It's a sport that is very much admired within the forces, even though it took until 1995 to get it played in the forces. It's much admired for its value systems and its discipline and its camaraderie, and the armed forces think really highly of rugby league. So you'll probably see some people wearing very smart uniforms and polished boots.
Dress up then, but can't go in my scruffs and that then. But that's at Wakefield on Thursday. I know there's a couple of Super League games on Thursday, but they are Air Force versus the Navy. I want to know which of the three forces which hates each other.
Under 19s, women's and men's. Yeah. It's a triple header.
Yeah. And they've all got like lance corporals. I don't know how that works either. So.
No, I think all ours are private, aren't they?
So we'll see what happens there on Thursday. But that's other stuff coming up. Just Elaine talking about the actual rugby this week. Has anything else happened apart from Leroy Cudgeon needs to play hooker this week to play in every position for Huddersfield Giants.
Kicked a goal.
So yeah,
but he
can be cliche now.
He can be named on the team sheet at hooker, because he was named at prop this week. But I'm not sure he played prop.
Was he more valuable for money as a prop than
London Broncos takeover has gone through.
So there you go. And everyone's Jason Demetriou is coming.
He's coming. He's signed a 3-year deal, and they have said, and who are we to disbelieve anything that Darren Lockyer and Grant Weshel, who is his business manager, say, but they've said it's not contingent on being on Super League.
Are they going to sign Tom Trbojevic and all those people?
Well, they say they're going to bring over some established stars. I think you'd have to be in Super League to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you can put your arm around Cameron Munster and say, offering you a chance to come to London to play in the Championship. Matt Thrall is not going to Limu.
No, he's retiring, isn't he? So
except he isn't, because he's becoming player coach in some junior team in Australia.
There's something else I was going to say there about London. Oh yeah, because Jason Demetriou's coming over. Mike Eccles is going back to his job of director of whatever it was. And,
I think he'll definitely be involved in the pathways. And
there's a bit of revisionist history today about his role, because he's always been director of whatever he's been.
He's never. I don't think he's ever actually been confirmed as the head coach.
In the same way that Lindsay Anfield is the director of rugby at York Valkyrie.
Well, he started, Mike, as head of strength and conditioning, and then I think, by virtue of we'll look round the office and see who could be coach. Mike, you're the only one in the room, and he's done a great job.
Yeah.
But he never wanted to be coach. I think we did a My Life in League interview with him where he said, I never had any ambition or aim to be the coach. I took on the coaching role because I needed to do it for the club. But I don't think he ever harboured an ambition to make that his long-term career choice.
And the slight revisionist this year is London's not been picking up lots of great results this year. Well, they've ended well.
They've got better.
But now Jason Demetriou's in money, and he's still got a job, so that's good. That's the important thing. And Lindsay Anfield's not being the head coach of York next year. Didn't speak to her yesterday, so I don't know. I could have asked her, but I didn't know. So.
No, I think that story was broken by a Women's Rugby League website.
Yeah.
And fair play to them, because if that is true, then that's big for York. I think, as you say, she's not leaving.
No, she's still focusing on youth or something.
And I would imagine also working to get more Peaceler Kurus in. Which is great, but obviously there is an opening there for a head coach of a successful women's team, and at the same time, Dec Hardman declaring an interest to want to go to the NRLW.
Yeah, so read St George Illawarra. Well, I don't know anything about it. I only get my NRLW news from listening to podcasts.
Justin Holbrook is the new coach at Newcastle Knights.
Yes.
Well, welcome back, Justin. We like Justin. He had some nice interviews while he was over here.
Especially after a grand final or two, yeah.
Brian McDermott possibly going to the Gold Coast to become assistant to Josh Hannay there.
Michael Checker's off to the Roosters.
Which would be amazing. Not amazing because I think he, again, he's a very high profile guy who, if he's coming into rugby league and also coaching Lebanon in the World Cup, then again, that's a coup for our sport.
I think what's certainly been borne out, and I kind of touched on this last week, is the performances of the Australian women's rugby union team are obviously affected by this little thing going on in Australia, but no one seems to have noticed that. The NRLW doesn't exist. It's like,
okay.
No, it's nothing to do with that. Georgia Roach got a try.
She did. Fran Goldthorpe won the Players Player of the Year award at North Queensland.
So it's all interesting. Everything's interesting.
Well, we're getting to what we colloquially have to call, as it's raining outside and the trees are swaying, the business end of the season. Yeah.
Which means that most of this week's games were completely pointless, and but we'll get into them in a minute.
I have a question.
Yes.
Talking of next week's games.
Oh yeah.
Championship playoffs, right? So we're at the pointy end.
Yeah.
We've got
pointy end.
2 semi-finals.
Yeah.
Both of which on paper look really, really good games.
Bradford Fev, which was very close up until the last 20 minutes on.
Which is a repeat of a game that was, but again, Bradford Fev, bit of rivalry.
Yeah. Peter Fox.
Yeah. Oldham Halifax, 2 rookie coaches, 2 teams who have done really, really well this year. Wouldn't say they've necessarily over-exceeded, but I don't think too many people would have had Oldham and Halifax in the top 6 at the start of the season. Both playing at the same time on Friday night when there are 4 Super League games.
4 Super League games. And I think the reason that all the Super League games aren't on at the same time is because we haven't got enough video referees or TV crews or whatever, which is an issue, but it's also not, because there's always going to be games. Yeah. It's not like football where you've got promotion and relegation and all Champions League places. There's only going to be a couple of games where there's ever anything on it. Unless the whole world's gone mad.
But so why,
stupid,
when we've got virtually the whole weekend free of Super League?
Apparently it's because they'll have a shorter turnaround if they play on a different day. This is where the RFL should say to them, look lads, because women wouldn't make these stupid decisions. Look lads, no one's going to pay any attention to these games. Local radio's not going to pay any attention to them, because Radio Manchester will be wherever doing commentary on Super League, and Radio Leeds will be doing commentary wherever on Super League, because they won't be doing Bradford Fev or Oldham Halifax, because they haven't got enough people, and it's a Friday night. They probably won't be on because it's local radio,
or even the wave bands to do it on.
So it'll be made up radio stations or whatever covering them.
But how can you have on the one hand this constant argument of the Championship isn't given due respect and doesn't get coverage in the same way it should and doesn't have a TV deal, and then when it comes to 2 games who people outside of watching the Championship week on week out would be interested in, and a whole weekend free, you play them at the same time on a Friday night as 4 Super League games. I'm sure there's a logistical reason. I don't understand from a broadcasting or streaming reason why it makes any sense whatsoever.
Even if we look at the logistics of...
what was our league invented for? Was it this kind of scenario?
Even if we look at the logistics of not all the players are full-time.
Yep.
Right, well that means...
Well, very few. In fact, Toulouse are the only players that are fully full-time, but there'll be odd ones in these teams.
That's why they say that things like, the women's games on a Friday night are tricky because, they've got to get off work early or whatever. But so then you've got the same situation here. It doesn't make it makes no sense.
But it makes no sense that they're clashing with the Super League games. It makes even less sense that they're clashing with each other.
I've turned the microphone on and off to see if that helps the sound issue. Let me do it again. Bear with us, caller. It's like Hemman Hill. We've renamed it. And now the people on YouTube don't know. Some comments.
Yes, let's go with comments. They're far better than ours.
Well, but as we say, it's just there's no logical reason to have games on. Knockout games. These are knockout games, aren't they? Yeah. Because York and Toulouse.
They're massive.
Yeah. knockout games on when there are, and yeah, most of the Super League games on Friday night mean nothing, do they? Because everything's pretty much sorted. I think
technically there's
who finishes here or there, but it's not as if on the league leader show could be decided. Yeah, that's true.
That's on Thursday.
Oh, that's yeah, because so yeah, it's
the only thing that could be determined is if Lee were to lose and Leeds were to win, who would be third?
The battle for third. Get that as a graphics.
The likelihood is, with the greatest respect to the fact that there were some results this weekend people wouldn't have predicted.
No, definitely not.
That Lee will beat Huddersfield and it won't matter what happens at Wigan and Leeds.
I've had a whole car of a season. I started really well in the tipping competition. Now I've
Where have you
slowly
slipped? Because you were third.
I know, yeah. I did. What went wrong this week is obviously I tipped Hull KR. Obviously I tipped Leeds. I did tip Salford to win at Huddersfield because I thought Huddersfield were no good. I saw them the other week. But I did tip Hull. So that was all right. And Wigan to beat Castleford. I nearly got that spot on as well, but no. Mike Eccles always wanted to be the director of rugby, never the coach. He is Mr. London Broncos, says Michael. And he will remain. You'd be foolish if you were the new people coming in to upset the current band of supporters you've got, because they are extremely loyal. And they're not going to do that. Why you can't afford to get rid of Burgess and all his coaching team would cost hundreds of thousands. So the same for us next season, says Kevin. Maybe we could get an assistant coach's job.
I think of all of the clubs where money to replace coaches or bring in overpaid players, that's not an issue at Warrington. I think with a year of Sam Burgess's contract left, it is doable. But I'm not advocating that necessarily that's what they need to do. I'm just saying it's really bizarre that you would turn up at a game and handicap yourself by having one potentially less player to call on.
Who will be... here's a question for the people. Who will be the Warrington Wolves coach in 2027? There's one for all the people writing articles on their websites. There's one for you.
5 people.
5 people. James Ford. James Webster.
When he wins the championship grand final
mega championship
with Batley.
That's in Mexico, in the wrestling. Because obviously this is where we should get ideas from. They've got the AAA, the Triple R Mega Championship. That's their world championship. So we've got to call it the Mega Championship.
Right.
Which reminds me, those 2 touchdowns yesterday in the NFL, the one where Pittsburgh decided that they'd forgotten the rules on kickoffs. And where's the one that someone kicked it towards their own line and someone... They get paid millions of pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Daft. Phil says all sports are promoted in the armed forces. I got untold hours away from duty to play rugby and hockey. Was that the other rugby though, Phil, in your day? I don't want to cast aspersions on your age, but
I think that from talking to people that are involved in armed forces rugby league, the perception of rugby league is very, very high.
In fairness, one of my nephews did play cricket at school just to get out of lessons. So
when we got on the 6th form, we put down golf and went into the cinema.
Golf?
Yeah. By the time you got to 6th form, and there was absolutely no chance you could be deemed as any good at anything, and you weren't going to play for the school, particularly rugby in the winter or cricket in the summer. It's like, just get off the premises. Oh, we're definitely going out playing a round of golf. We'd go to the plaza and watch Clint Eastwood films.
Kevin says, salute to our armed forces. You see, we started patriotism and flags here long ago on this programme. Look, we've got that flag, we've got that flag,
The other thing about Armed Forces Day is why don't we just do it properly? Why don't
just
we have
one
round?
One round, yeah.
Rather than... Because it was Armed Forces Day on Thursday night at Headingley for no other reason than, yes, we should celebrate.
Did they get James on the pitch?
I don't know if he was there. Oh. There were lots of people in uniforms, obviously there.
You can't have it in May because we've got Star Wars Day, because that's an annual thing at Leeds.
So, just dedicate a round to it.
But we say this all the time. We let's have a retro round at this point.
And the other thing,
we can't have the armed forces round just once because the teams everyone needs to have a home round.
But we were celebrating the anniversary of D-Day this year, weren't we? The 80th anniversary. So we could have had it around then, either side of it. Like in football, how poppy season lasts about 6 weeks. But I mean that like Rugby League's 130th birthday. Yeah, that we did nothing. No cake. Armed Forces Day to celebrate the 80th anniversary of... no, it wasn't D-Day, was it? It was VE Day. The end of the war.
Didn't do history.
So, that's a great weekend to have Armed Forces round and ally the sport with contribution of the Armed Forces in what they did in the Second World War.
Phil says, Rugby League and joined up thinking it will never happen. It just makes no sense, the fixtures on Friday. I understand logistically why the 6 Super League games are not all on at the same time, but I don't understand why these 2 semi-finals. I know, but York and Toulouse have got a week off anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not as if you play on the Saturday or the Sunday, it makes much difference.
But even if you play both games on the Saturday, to give the teams the maximum amount of time before they have to play York or Toulouse, just play them at different times on the Saturday.
What else is on Saturday? There's nothing else on Saturday. And not in Rugby League, because all the Super League games are done.
Well, it's a reserves grand final, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to interfere with
Yeah, but that's going to be streamed. I think Leeds are streaming that, aren't they? So
I don't know.
No, there's nothing else on Saturday because they've got the women's semi-finals on Sunday.
Yep.
The wheelchair grand
But
finals
they've got
not
them at
until
different times.
Yeah, the wheelchair grand finals not until a week on Sunday. So there's nothing on Saturday or Sunday afternoon.
But I would have, you can have them both on a Saturday, one at 3 o'clock, one at 5:30. More of us who perhaps are on our way to a Super League game on Friday night would also be able to support the Championship.
Well, what happened to wheelchairs on Saturday? Because the results aren't on the BBC website. I know Leeds beat Edinburgh, but it was closer than when they met.
Halifax won, London won, which confirms that Halifax and London are playing in the grand final, which Halifax had qualified anyway. London got the other berth, beat Wigan.
Yeah, because Halifax must have been the whole, or the other way around. One of those. But it does mean...
Yes, no shocks.
No. London Roosters in a grand final.
Yep.
London Broncos women in a grand final.
Yep.
Because they will play Featherstone for the right... In the Northern Championship grand final.
London Broncos men been taken over by people we've heard of.
So it's good in the capital for the time being. Women's Super League existed. And...
Again, it was sort of a dead rubber round, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But games were played.
But well done to Kelsey Gentles, and not only well done to England international Kelsey Gentles.
We like her.
I reckon she wants to get into the Jamaica team. They beat Barrow, that's Huddersfield, a new team, 48-6, and she scored a try. And then she buggered off to Leeds and was on the telly.
She must have put her foot down on the M62.
Yeah, zoomed off. So
she possibly didn't even have a chance for a shower. But I'm not putting that out.
Well, they were at the other side of the stadium, so I can't confirm.
I think you should ask that.
Lee Nil, St Helens 44. Very nervy times late on in this one because someone asked me before the game, minus 41.5, would you take that? I said, yeah, they'll win by plenty. 30-0 up after 30 minutes. You're doing St Helens. Everything, but they scored later on. I'm not going to tell you who scored. Wigan beat Warrington.
Was it 10?
No, the other one. Wigan beat Warrington, but they didn't play. You know what? I'm still of the opinion, even more so now, that they should have been given the shield at Wigan, at St Helens the week before, because I turned over to watch it at half time, and it was. You remember when we taken the mickey out of St Helens winning the men's league of the shield, and not really. It wasn't that they weren't proud to have won it. It was just all the momentum and the adrenaline and everything. It's just, So it's great that the fans got to see it, but they could have done it twice.
The pictures will have lots of people in the background, which is good.
But they would have done it at St Helens when the fans were going. But they could have done it twice as well and done it again and get their medals. They got medals.
Did they?
Yeah. So we'll check if Halifax Panthers have got medals in the wheelchairs. And Leeds beat York 30 points to 14. I was there.
You were there.
I've got to say, before...
It was on Sportsman. It should be a sports person, really, shouldn't it?
I shouldn't have bothered going, but I did, because, I'm on brand. Before was the Academy game. I don't think I've seen the Under-19s Academy game in Women's Super League.
It's good talent coming through.
Yeah. York had a player, I think she's called T, because that's what all the people kept shouting when she had the ball. And she looked really good. Number 8, so forward, strong.
You like props?
Powerful, yeah. Strong, powerful. Certainly stood out. I feel like if you say someone's strong or physical, people would say are you saying they're not skillful? No, skillful as well. But York are a very physical side. I think that's fair to say. They looked bigger than Leeds. But yeah, there is talent coming through, and that's exciting.
Good.
So,
well, I think
NRLW scouts watch out.
The under-19s competition has been a success because Warrington have actually completed the season but won games as well. There clearly is talent available, and whatever the politics of their first team or otherwise, clearly we should be celebrating the fact that participation is up.
And we know that. If
London Broncos women
yes
are holding trials, or I think they may have held them this weekend for under 17 and under 19s players.
So they beat Salford.
They did.
And again, Salford, well done them getting through the season with everything going off, And Featherstone beat Cardiff, which is not good news for us because we, Cardiff supporters, but London Featherstone grand final in London at Chiswick on not this Sunday, the Sunday after. So
same as the wheelchair. 22nd.
Yeah. So hopefully someone streams it so I can watch it on a train to Manchester. But we'll see. But well done, because I'm on that page anyway, and most of the games were on Sunday. Bradford 22, Featherstone 8, which was 2-2 at half time.
I think Featherstone winning 8-2, and it was only in the last 10 minutes they conceded 3 tries. But again, sets it up beautifully. It means that Featherstone finished 6th, Bradford 3rd. They meet again. We shall again at Oddsall, and set up for I saw Paul Cook's interview with the club website afterwards, and he's confident that his team can do something.
Doncaster, I think, was 16-0 up or something ridiculous, and then lost to Halifax 24-16.
Which again would have meant Halifax going to Bradford, but now they play Oldham.
Sheffield beat Barrow 26-12.
Which is a blessed relief for Sheffield on a disastrous season. They do have their awards on Friday night. Again, it's one of those years where you go, thank you, I'd much rather win it when we've actually had a good season.
They need a purge of everything from the past, but they can't have that purge because everything connected with Sheffield Eagles and their successes and their resurrection is all associated with one family name.
Yeah, but I think that there is time and distance that is needed, and that's been this year. It's like write it off, line under the sand. Craig Lingard gets a team that's more in his image with the recruitment over the off-season, and they'll just look to do what they can on the field and not worry too much about what's happened off it.
Widnes 10, London 20, so London end with a bang, Widnes end with a whimper.
Yeah, London have got better over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Which augurs well.
York 52, Batley 12.
Yeah.
Still unbeaten. Still, is that 20 unbeaten or something ridiculous now? They're almost as good as the Cyprus men's rugby union team. But they won the League Leaders Shield. So
favourites to host the grand final.
Oh yeah.
If they can win their semi.
When's the Championship grand final?
5th of October.
Why does that ring a bell?
It's the same weekend as the women's grand final, I think.
That's probably why then. And Hunslet 6, Toulouse 68.
And again, if you ever wanted a season to end, it's Hunslet.
They got promoted by accident now. Now they've not got relegated.
It was just such a tough year. And they knew it was going to be, but I think it's been harder than they thought it was going to be.
Can Fev women be promoted to Super League, or is it IMG rules there too? No one cares about Women's Super League, so if they win that final, they're in.
They got relegated, didn't they? So
yeah,
they can easily get promoted. Yeah. No, the winner gets promoted.
And Fev do things right, so the thing from, I don't say the perspective of this programme, but Super League will be better with London and Cardiff in than 2 more teams from here because everyone's fishing in the same pond. And
I genuinely don't know how you can call it the Northern Championship when you've had London and Cardiff in it. But a 6-team Women's Super League with a current 4 and London and Cardiff, and then if you want Super League 2 or whatever you want to call it, just beneath, and some elements
we did have that at one point, I'm sure we did.
Yes, then we're not print, and you're digging into new reservoirs of talent, and I do think that you don't have to follow the men's footprint.
LG also says, did we ever discuss the beach rugby game that's planned for pre-season? How does that work? Is that the Castleford Oldham thing? Or is that
I don't think they're playing on the beach, are they?
I have no idea. Are they playing Valencia, aren't they, who don't exist? Or do they exist?
No, they're playing in Benidorm, but they're playing Oldham. They're not playing a Spanish team this year. But unless there is something else going on beach rugby league. Didn't you go to?
I went to the beach rugby. Yeah, in Magaluf. Yeah.
Did we ever discuss that?
We discussed it happening.
Right.
But
so if there is another tournament, somewhere,
let us know what's going on. Is this like everything on this program? Someone says something on another podcast, and we've got no idea what's going on.
Castleford are due to play Oldham in Benidorm.
Yeah. Which is as on brand for
whether
rugby
it's
league.
On the beach, I don't know.
As on brand for rugby league as it could possibly get. It's a local amateur team on the beach, says LG. I don't know. Like Blackpool. I don't know. Don't know anything about it. We've not had an email, so...
Send us some more details and we'll
wait for Cass or Oldham to try and lure us with a free flight out to Benidorm, like other clubs do to people, but nothing as of yet.
Benidorm in January, is it a great attraction?
Well, I don't know. Martin Keller went there because he wrote about it in his book. I'm not sure it's for us.
He's got another Substack out.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be for us. I don't know. Don't want to look down on Benidorm.
Do you think it's for sort of younger people than me?
No, I think it's for... I don't want to cast aspersions on the lower classes, but I think it's for the lower classes.
I don't know.
You own a business, I've got a double-barrelled surname, you know.
Is it more to do with if the bar's open at 3 a.m, you'll have a beer?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. But I don't want to upset all our listeners who go to Benidorm now. None of our listeners go to Benidorm.
I haven't been.
Chris says, do any Spanish teams exist? Do they? I'll look it up. It's to do with the Castleden weekend, says LG. Yes.
Not that I know of. No. I think the
and
Spanish...
you would know.
Well, I think...
I'd hope you'd know.
It's fair to say I think the Spanish domestic competition is not quite as robust as it once was.
As the Euro 13s. Because in the current issue of Forty20 magazine, which, if you're a subscriber, will have landed on your doorstep.
Out now.
I get it because it doesn't have a crossword. Because I can't finish that joke. You've got a list of upcoming international fixtures.
You do, and even that now has been superseded by some more being announced.
Here it is, on page 42, Life, the Universe and Everything. So is there a game before the 11th of October?
There's 3 games on the 4th, the 4th to the 10th, between Nigeria and Ghana women. There's now Wales and Ireland men to add in.
Yeah.
I think the Netherlands have arranged a couple of games, so that's to be added in. I mean, that is some international schedule.
Czechia versus Norway, because we officially recognise their proper name. Fiji Cook Islands in the Pacific Bowl, so that's a thing. But people who are in Europe who are watching this could be going to Malta versus Netherlands, or Italy, Ukraine, all these kind of things. Then there's the World Series going on for the women's place in the World Cup.
Which we're really looking forward to.
Shani Crowell's in it.
Well, there are 4 nations in it who represent 4 different regions. So Ireland play Nigeria, that's Europe against Africa, and Fiji play Canada, who are hosting it. So that's obviously the Pacific against the Americas. I mean, how good is this? And the winners then play each other to determine the final nation that is going to the Women's World Cup.
Where's Ukraine Greece being played?
I don't know.
It's on my birthday. I should go.
I think it's in Italy.
Oh.
I think.
But I also got tickets to go see a Billy Joel tribute, so as much as I'd like to go to Italy, I've got that instead.
Have you seen So It Goes, the documentary?
No, I haven't yet.
It's only 5 hours.
Yeah, that's a long time, isn't it?
Can't recommend it enough.
I went to see a talk about the shipping forecast last week, which was really good.
I texted you in the middle of it, didn't I?
It was really good.
Hope you had your phone on.
I did. Kipax versus Alicante on a beach, says LG.
Okay.
Well, Alicante got a team.
Expats.
Immigrants.
Don't go there.
Super League kicked off on Thursday.
Don't get me started.
Super League kicked off on Thursday with Leeds versus Catalans.
Yes.
Well, what a bizarre game this was, Phil. How did Leeds not score any of the points that they should have scored from all the opportunities they had?
Well, I think if you're looking at...
Panic.
I think they tried to score on every play and weren't patient. I think that in some way detracts from Catalan, who beat them in Perpignan in March as well, in very similar wet conditions. They played the game at their pace.
I've been told they're the only team Leeds haven't beaten in this league.
It is the only team, yeah. But also, when it gets wet and blustery, you have to rely a bit on your kicking game and playing in the right parts of the field. And I don't think I've ever been to a game where a team has kicked 2 40-20s and 1 20-40.
Yes. The lesser spotted 2040.
That is how dominant Catalan's kicking game was. And to their absolute credit, they put down a marker for 2026. And I think we can expect with the recruitment that they've done and that kind of performance that people who support them should be quite excited about what may happen next year. And all of the clubs that say they've got nothing left to play for this season, Catalan didn't have anything to play for, but they put in their best performance of the season. Their forwards were rugged. They determined the speed of the rucks. Jake Connor didn't play. Leeds didn't have a last tackle option. But nothing but credit for the attitude of the Dragons. But it was a surprise. Yeah. It's also getting to the point of the season where you look at what Hull KR did. So, there are some comparisons that it's a very long season and there is a point before the playoffs start where teams have a lull and need to reset themselves, and that was one for Leeds. It's like, you finish fourth, you got a home playoff for the first time for 8 years, that's your goal, great, but if you want to go any further, you've got to address the fact that if your chief playmaker isn't there, what do? What's got you points this year? What's made you miserly? Because you're patient and you're prepared to build and get reward on the end of it. They didn't do any of that.
Just strange, as you say. Panic. Strange.
It was panic. And they were trying to... it's almost like clock pressure. Started about the 47th minute. They won the penalty count 9-3, Leeds. And yet they didn't win the game. So, that surfeit of possession that they will have had from that tells you everything about the panic mode they were in. I mean, again, not picking out any players in particular, but they were too easy to read on attack.
On the Friday, so nothing else to say about that. So no. I think you've summed it up succinctly there. You talk about Catalans. And
I think a lot of people laughed at Leeds. That goes with the territory.
To Spain, Alicante Cruzados versus Kippax Welfare. Chris says that will be the Spanish team just first ever game, won't it? We'll be interested to see how it goes after Euro 13 and franchise rugby league. What those things that were never going to happen.
That didn't happen.
Valencia has a team, says LG.
Who do they play? I don't know. I mentioned that, merely because it would be handy if nations that play domestic rugby league allowed people to report on the development of the game there. So I have no idea if and who they would play.
It's handy to report on the game in this country without others. Friday, Wigan 62, Castleford 6. No one watched this, did they? No one did.
I listened to Chris Chester's press conference and the desperation with which he claimed that, 1 week we win, the next week we concede over 40 points. It's like, Chris, we've got to the end of the season.
It doesn't
matter. But if you didn't know that by now,
and you don't have to worry
it
about
shouldn't be a surprise.
You're not in charge next year. You don't have to worry about it.
You've got to take the phone call from Ryan Carr saying, what have you sold me here? But the way Castleford performed, not a surprise. The way Wigan performed, everybody now says they're favourites to win the grand final because their informed players are back. And they're scoring a lot of points. They're miserly again in defence. We're back to the Wigan of old. Suddenly now they're hitting the right kind of form at the right time. Other contenders slipping a little bit. Watch out for Wigan.
And as we know, Castleford won their grand final the week before. So Lee 28, St Helens 10. This was the big TV game, in so much as that it was the one people probably watched.
I watched it.
Lee, they're just good. And missing Edwin Napape this week, but it's better to have him missing a game that doesn't really matter, rather than a playoff game.
We've been asked to vote for the Rugby League Writers and Broadcasters Association Player of the Year. That's your second reminder.
Yes.
Don't forget.
You write it down.
And
on the phone.
I thought relatively long and not so hard about who I'd vote for.
Yeah.
And what clinched it for me was watching Lee again this weekend and realising how much of what they do that's brilliant goes through Lachlan Lamb. And I think, you look at the voting for the Man of Steel and you look at the teams that are at the top of the league and who's been their most influential player. I'm not sure this year I've seen anybody who is more important for their team and everything that they stand for and do. Bearing in mind that he hasn't missed a game this year. You know, he won't be rested because he loves being out there. I haven't seen anyone control the team better than Lachlan Lamb, and he did it again on Friday night. I mean, Saints got back into it at 12-10, but it wasn't a convincing 12-10. And then Lee got a relatively fortunate try in the fact that Jack Hughes did really well to hack the ball on and gather it and score. But with Lachlan Lamb in the team, Lee were never going to lose that game. And it highlighted to me again the issues at Saints, which is around creativity and putting people in positions where they can have maximum impact. And the hardest thing in the world sometimes when you're a coach is to tell players that they're not playing. If Jack Wellesby is the best fullback in the club, possibly in the competition, and possibly going to be the England fullback in the Ashes, makes sense to play him at fullback. If you then have to turn around to a player and say that means you don't play, that's what you got to do. Rather than just go, okay, well, I'd like you to play, so if you're not in the fullback, we'll put you on the wing. And I know you're my captain, but I'm going to play you off the bench. Like, with the greatest respect to Johnny Lomax, who again is a player I have absolutely loved watching. He's clearly coming to the twilight of his career. He's not a bench player. Can't make an impact off the bench in the same way he can when he starts. It's compromise all the time, and it harmed Saints, and Lamb exposed that.
He won it a couple of years ago. The Rugby League Writers and Broadcasters Association Award. Snappy title.
Well, I think he deserves it.
I was having to look back to see who's won it in the past. Plenty of, all the big names you'd have expected to have won it. Pretty much.
Some of whom didn't win Man of Steel.
No. Which reminds me, because this programme goes on tangents, and I wanted to mention something because it annoyed me. And that was, because we all, Rugby League family and all that, be kind and all that. Some people's reactions to the National Television Awards, because that's why you texted me from the thing.
Was that what? Yeah.
I know it was important to people that Rob Burrows' documentary won that award, and I understand why it was important to those people. But I want to say the awards are meaningless. Because
well, you will be saying that in your next column.
Oh, will I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm good.
I've already written that.
Thank you.
Sorry, you've already written it. Well,
because
you've written it anyway.
There are my words, yeah.
Because it was going to go in this one, but we didn't know the result. So
the awards are meaningless because they're voted on by the public, and
never trust the public to do anything.
No, and it's always going to go with whoever's got the biggest or most mobile fan base, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what the awards are. The awards that matter in the media or whatever will be ones like the Royal Television Society Awards or the BAFTA Awards, or I'm not even going to say the Sony Awards in radio because they're a nonsense as well. But
the Podcast Awards.
Podcast Awards. Yeah, if we ever win the Podcast Awards, it's going to be voted on by people. We're never going to win.
It'll be meaningful.
Yeah. It'll mean something then.
Even though it doesn't.
But it doesn't mean anything. It's irrelevant. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but to me, the legacy of Rob Burrow is more the thing that's been built in Seacroft.
Yeah.
And people's awareness of MND and the amount of money that's been raised and everything else.
Getting nominated for 3 documentaries is sensational.
The nomination is the win.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it's in the public's hands, and for the people who are going, who's Molly May, who's this, you've completely missed the point of everything we've been talking about for the last few years.
And I think I inadvertently wasted 2 hours of my life watching the awards on your behalf.
Thank you.
And I did think that Molly May recognised how ridiculous it was, so that she will have looked at the other nominees. And to be fair to her, I thought she was a cleaning company. I've seen the cars going around with Molly May on the side. That she did acknowledge Rob's family.
Yeah.
And I think, she basically said, this is for you, which of course it isn't, but she acknowledged how ridiculous the awards were. Yeah. So I just think the issue with the campaign of saying he's got to win is you don't have to win, you have to be nominated. That is fantastic.
Said on this programme, every year, the nomination is the victory, because as soon as it's in the public's hands, it could be, Anton Deck won the best TV presenter for 20 odd years because people like their programmes. But then when they come on it this year,
he did
in controversial fashion because
it wasn't controversial.
Well, no, I know it's not, but winds up the Daily Mail, so that's good. Isn't it? But that was a tangent now, and I needed to get that out.
And she will in the next magazine.
So look out for that.
You don't need to write that.
No, I'm going to have to watch Educating Yorkshire though, because there's a lad from the Bradford Bulls Academy on it.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, because I've got to watch Educating Yorkshire. And what I'm thinking about writing about, but I'm going to have to squiz through, is how the Channel 5 are presenting the NFL. Have you seen this?
Mm.
In a game show style.
Mm. I like it.
So then I've got to think about how would we do a rugby league game show. But that's something I'm going to have to think about and write in a style that doesn't offend anyone. Wigan are back, 100%, says Kevin. Now it's Rovers who are stuttering. Well, we'll come to them in a moment. Can we have a Leigh-Wigan grand final? Can we?
No, semi-final. Well, it depends. I mean, technically we haven't got the finishing positions.
Yeah. But
if they remain as they are, it's a semi-final.
Phil says Wigan and Penrith are going to win the grand finals again.
I think Phil may have gone early on the Penrith.
I need to get to the women's grand final because I need to ask whoever wins it, if it is the team where everyone thinks is going to win, would they play?
Are they going to Australia?
Yeah, because we know that club. If it's that club, they're progressive and all that.
Mm-hmm. No, they should.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, no, they should. I think they would.
It is pointless, says Phil, but it will raise the profile of Rob and MND. Yes, because they've been nominated was the win. That was the win.
Yeah.
Phil gets it. The people who watch and listen to this programme get it because they understand the world. We said we'd be done earlier than this. No, you went to Hull FC versus Warrington. That sounds like a game that. I mean, I didn't watch any of Saturday's game because I went out and was social because you've got to be sociable. 34-2. I thought Hull would win comfortably, and they won comfortably. I know Hull are
20 minutes into the game. Mm-hmm. Warrington are winning 2-0. Question mark about why they went for goal with a very early penalty. It just shows lack of confidence. Simbinning, Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Warrington conceded 18 points while he's off. Game finished. Yeah. It's like the capitulation was like, take nothing away from Hull. Both teams had some key players missing. Hull's youngsters are a joy to watch at the moment. Zach Hardacre has had, you can't have a renaissance, but when they look back on this season, it was a renaissance for...
He might be in the dream team next week.
The only issue of him not being in it is where would you put him?
Yeah.
But his form and his influence on the young kids, amazing. Warrington wanted to play 5 drives and a kick. Very bizarrely, Mark Sneed was doing all the kicking, but he wasn't moving forward. So every time he kicked, all his chases were automatically offside. Very strange. Whereas Hull wanted to move the ball. Yeah. So when they got the extra man and they moved the ball, Harvey Burnett on one wing, Lewis Martin on the other. Brilliant. Deneve Barnforth, who's come back from from Catalan, who's clearly had an enjoyable month out playing first team rugby. Brilliant. And then Aidan Caesar had the proverbial ball on a string, set up the 3 of the first 4 tries, scored the other one himself, and Hull have won it at half time, 22-2. There is absolutely no way Warrington, with the team they've got out there, are going to find 1 score, never mind 4.
And they didn't. So
the second half was...
Was it a tough commentary because you're on Radio Merseyside? How did
it was tough if it was a Warrington audience listening to it.
You and Phil Kinsella have to sell it.
I think you just tried to be honest, and it was so poor. I mean, I think I said at the beginning of the broadcast, Warrington need to show what Catalan had showed on the Thursday night. That although the season's over,
they've still got
Please stick with us. Yeah. The fans that have come over, we need to give you something. The ones that are thinking of renewing their season ticket and might not, we need to give you a reason to do it. We're building up to the last games of the season. There's positivity around the club. You left the ground and you thought, there's no redeeming features.
Kev says, first time under Burgess, they've been kept trialless.
The biggest, I think, defeat in terms of margin of the season.
It's going to be a long off season because they've got.
He says it's going to do them good and they'll be fine. I'm yet to be convinced.
It's going to be a long off season in terms of how much they can try and mobilise the fan base next year. Because I know people say, I'm not going to renew my season ticket, and then they do, because, it's stuck in you.
But relatively speaking, for an economy that is struggling at the moment, it's expensive. No, I think it's great value for money compared to other sports. But you're asking people to shell out, let's say, £400, which is a figure I've picked off the top of my head. But it won't be far off that, because we're going to have even more exciting fixtures with Bradford, York, and London. So season tickets prices aren't going to go down. You've got to give people a reason to want to buy them, and my concern for Warrington is they've lost quite a few fans this year. There's a disillusionment around what's happened, and I didn't see any signs on Saturday that was going to change in the near future.
I genuinely thought the next game we were going to talk about was the last one of the weekend, and I forgot that I would still play Salford. But that will take about 2 seconds.
To be fair, it probably is the last game of the weekend.
Wakefield 28, Hulkington Rovers 12.
Did you watch this?
I watched it back because I went out. So yeah.
I defer to you.
Max
I've seen the highlight.
Maybe Max Jowett being out of the team has done him some good. I don't know, but he was good, and Lino was good, and he won the Player of the Year thing at the Wakefield Awards the other week, which I don't know why people are having awards when the season's not finished, but regardless, that's
the first half. We were relaying the score.
Total Rugby League,
because
not total Rugby League.
Obviously, what Wakefield were doing affected what Hull were doing. Yeah. So Phil Kinsella did have his iPad with him, and the game was on, and we, it's mainly to get the score, and it's like, as he was relaying it, I'm going, what has happened here? Is it Wakefield had a point to prove after the week before, or is it that some chickens that Hull KR, some seeds that they sowed, are now the chickens are coming home to roost? I don't want to mix metaphors.
The chickens are coming home to
be
reaped.
The chickens.
Reap the chickens.
Are roasting.
Robins.
They've used very few players this year by choice. I think they are second fewest number of players that a club has used, because they've gone with the tried, the tested. They're not the youngest squad in the competition. 26 rounds is a lot. And if you say, I wonder if that's starting to catch up with them, it detracts from how good Wakefield were, which is why I don't want to make too much of that, because I didn't see the first half.
Well, to be 26-0 up at half time, and that's the game over, because they only scored 2 points in the second half. And I think you're right, they must have had the absolute rocket shoved up them after last week's performance at Castleford, because I've not seen a performance that bad in a long time. And you would imagine that Darryl Powell saying to them all this week, you're expected to go to Salford and win by plenty. You're expected to go to Castle and win by plenty. So book your ideas up.
And he's not afraid to make changes.
No, as we've seen with Max Jowett, and he's back in the team. And Wakefield look different when Jake Truman's fit, and that's been shown again this week. But he's not always fit, so that's part of the thing. But some performance.
What these results effectively mean is that Hull KR need to win or not lose heavily in their final home game, which again on paper you'd think they won't, and they'll get the proverbial rocket. Wakefield need to beat Salford, and I think from what we've seen of Salford over the last 2 or 3 weeks, albeit they lost late on this week against others, they're a different Salford to what they were a month ago, 2 months ago. And if they're going to put in one performance this season, other than the Warrington one,
final home,
it's going to be, we might as well do it. These fans are fantastic. They've stuck by us. None of us know where we're going to be next year. Let's just go and put down a marker for who we are. And I think Paul Rowley can get that out of his teams.
And he's got to play enough players so they break that record as well. That's the key.
But Nanny McDonald's flown back from Australia to be part of the last 2 games of the season. But it's not a given that Wakefield are going to be Salford. It's going to be harder.
Yeah.
And Hull are playing first at home to Catalan. And again, you'd say Hull did brilliantly, but they're really busted at the moment and are hurting them as well. Catalan, if they can repeat what they did at Leeds and not a pushover, again, you looked at that fixture a fortnight ago and said, yeah, Hull will win that. So I think it holds that sixth place open until the last week, which is good.
Which I mean, Wakefield might go to Lee in the playoffs. And as I said to David, I won't be going there.
Well, that's because you won't be let in, but that's
true. Kevin says long off season. It's going to be toxic as soon as next season starts. Going pear-shaped as expected. Optimism.
I don't know a lot about what's happened at Warrington this year. I know we've talked about the way they've played, but toxic is a word by people that have followed Warrington every week who I met on Saturday. Is the word that they are, people that know the club a lot better than I do are using that word, and if that's getting out on a more general basis, that's what the club have got to deal with. It's not about the coach. It's about why is the club toxic? How do they change that?
So Whitehaven fans made the trip down to
fantastic,
sunny, beautiful downtown Bellevue on.
And the thing about that was in recognition of what Wakefield did for them in the Championship last year. What a lovely gesture to give Matt Ellis a signed framed Whitehaven jersey.
I'll have to have a look for it on Thursday. Went to the Wakefield game and was not very optimistic, but wow, what a win, says Andrew. It's got to be pessimistic. Got to be pessimistic as a Wakefield supporter because we know what happens.
The great thing about if it is Lee Wakefield, and we're not counting anyone's chickens or planting any seeds, that will be a game where both teams love to use the ball, and that's an elimination playoff. You're going, I want to be a fan of that game.
Wakefield won there earlier in the season, and then Lee won at the DIY Kitchens Megagrams.
Yeah, that was again one of Wakefield's poorest performances of the season. They were easily beaten.
Rovers are 36-point favourites against Wyre this week, says Phil. I'm not sure if that's good value or not.
The thing, again, I don't know anything about what's going on at Warrington, but if I'm Sam Burgess, I'm asking my players to give me something to allow the fans to see that whatever is happening there is worthy of support. Give me 80 minutes against a team whose confidence has been knocked this week. If it's 30-0 to Hull KR at half time, I don't know what Warrington do.
What are the odds on Matt Duffy playing? Do we know?
Again, from what you're hearing, he won't be playing, and that means he probably will because we don't know. But if anything around disruption is true, you don't want him to play.
Phil says it's our last game in Super League. I'm sure we'll give it a go. Kirsten says the Salford players always give it a go, which is fair. All season they have not thrown in the towel. They've been heavily beaten. They've had all the kids out, but you cannot say that they have not had a go.
But I do think they're far more of a danger this weekend or this Friday, with it being their last game before probable relegation.
Yeah,
that team will break up. The management staff will break up. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. There's obviously the next fixture they've got is in the High Court with HMRC. They'll give it everything, and they'll play. They will not die wondering.
So Thursday,
Sunday, Huddersfield played Salford. There was a game.
22-8. I wasn't there.
I watched the last 10 minutes. Huddersfield won, and Leroy kicked a goal, and everything's happy.
I think now teams should be banned from letting players who are retiring kick goals because it's done. Done with this. And everyone's a legend.
It couldn't get any better after Paul Anderson kicked a goal from the touchline for Bradford.
Is anyone not a legend who's retiring this year? Let us know.
To be honest, I think anybody who plays one game is a legend, but that's because I have no ability whatsoever.
We just want a heritage number. Thursday. Well, the thing is, I know we won't upset anyone because no Huddersfield fans listen. The Salford fans, they're on our side.
They played.
Hull FC versus Catalan, Hull KR versus Warrington on Thursday.
And again, I understand why we're doing what we're doing, but it does seem slightly counterproductive to have both games in Hull at the same time.
Radio homicide for the rest of the weekend.
I know there aren't neutral fans who are going to toss up and go, oh, should I go to Hull or should I go to... Because it doesn't work like that. But it does seem odd to have two games in the same location at the same time.
So Friday, I am at work, so I will not see any of these games. But if I was going to choose a game to watch, it would probably be Wigan versus Leeds. Because the other ones, Leeds versus Huddersfield, Leeds going to win. Salford Wakefield should win. St Helens Castleford, St Helens will win. So Wigan.
Again, Saints Castleford's interesting because Saints are in the playoffs, but there's disgruntlement around finishing.
It's not quite toxic yet.
No, it's finishing out the top 4 for 2 years running, and where are we going, and who's coming in, and is the coach the right guy? They're going into that game against a team that, Chris Chester will say, "You owe me, you owe the fans, not for last week, just for the season." We've got a new coach coming in. We've got some new players coming in. We're trying to sell season tickets. You guys, you need to go out and put in a performance, and you need to get into them early because there will be some fragility around St Helens. So that could be it.
Kevin Hope stuffed he's not at Warrington next season. The problem for Warrington is that he's the kind of player that Warrington would sign, and the only club that would sign him would be Warrington. So.
I don't think he will be.
So we'll.
I don't think it suits either party for him to be there next year. And he does like a party, apparently.
Ian says Anderson kicked from the touchline for Saints, not Bradford, damn it.
Oh,
Did you say Bradford?
Yeah, Dad.
Bradford Bulls have infiltrated this programme.
Yeah.
Also,
because I have visions of him being one of the awesome foursome who terrorised even people who were watching the game, never mind playing.
Is that when they had a full-size pitch? Imagine what they'd been like on the mini pitch.
It'd have been even more unplayable than they were. The ball would not have got to Leslie Vanacola.
Why didn't they think of that already? I don't know. Sunday it is the Women's Super League semi-finals, which it helpfully says here are the eliminator semi-finals, which is what semi-finals
Most semi-finals are eliminated. I think it's safe to say that people who lose in a semi-final are eliminated.
And they'll be preparing for England's... No, they won't be preparing for England's next game. St Helens, York, Wigan, Leeds. So having seen Leeds and York yesterday, and it's the first time I think I've seen York in the flesh this year, any combination of these four could meet in the grand final. I still believe that because York for the last 2 years have won the grand final. They won it on home soil against Leeds a couple of years ago. They won it in St Helens last year when everyone wrote them off, when they didn't have Tara Jane Stanley, when they didn't have Sinead Peach. And this year they won't have Tara Jane Stanley, and chances are they won't have Sinead Peach either. Georgie Dagger was at hooker yesterday, wearing number 1. She plays everywhere.
Which she can. I mean, she has played hooker.
But I would still think St Helens will beat them on Sunday. But that's not to say that York can't win, because I don't know what to say York, because I know what they're like on their WhatsApp groups.
I think Saints haven't got the appreciation that they've deserved this year, because they went to Wembley and they were beaten out of sight, and they were 8 minutes away from finishing league leaders. So I suspect that if there is a hole in the Saints trophy cabinet, it's winning a grand final. And I think everybody's fit. I don't think they're missing anyone, are they?
Just Amy Hardcastle, I think, but she's
been out for a while.
I mean, it looked like they had pretty much their full team available to them yesterday against Lee. So Danny McGifford finished top try scorer. Well done to her. Wales international. Where's the tweet from Wales for me to retweet? So I think Saints will win, but if York win,
it's not going to surprise you. They are the defending champions.
Yeah, back to back. The first team to do back to back. Wigan versus Leeds, a repeat of the 2018 grand final. Leeds were good yesterday, and Leeds not been under the radar. I think they've just been getting through the season, and now they've got to the point where Caitlin Beavis is back.
Kira Bennett's back,
and she was good yesterday. She didn't look like she'd been off for over a year. She didn't look hesitant or anything like that.
I think having your captain back after so long is a galvanising factor.
And as you mentioned, Kira Bennett's back,
who makes a huge difference, and her axis with Ruby Bruce is, again, two very different styles of hooker. It's good.
Who's the 7? Who's the 7 for Leeds? She played well alongside Mel Howard yesterday, and I can't remember who it was then.
Ebony Stead's good.
But Mel Howard's kicking game was really good, which would be the issue for York on Saturdays. And if it's Sunday, they're up against Gaskin, and
if it's conditions like this, kicking game vitally important.
Wigan are the best team in the competition this year. They won every trophy.
Yep.
And I can't write off Leeds.
It's again the argument as to is a week off beneficial.
Well, I think I said that to someone yesterday, and it's if
you win, it's very beneficial. If you lose, it's a great excuse if you want to lose it. But if you've got momentum and you have a week off,
but momentum doesn't exist.
I think you'll find it does.
But Rod Studd says it doesn't.
But I think it does. I think there's a scientific formula for it.
Is it when you chuck Steve off a train and one train's going faster than the other?
People did want to chuck Steve off a train for a while.
Yeah, the momentum.
That was his bizarre interpretation of whether a pass was forward or not. This is when a team...
Yeah.
Yes. No.
This is actual momentum rather than...
Yes. Except it is
I mean,
because you can't measure it. It's a psychological momentum.
I think it will be in 2 weeks' time.
I think it'd be a Wigan Saints.
I think it'd be a Wigan Saints grand final. But if it was York versus Leeds, I also wouldn't be massively surprised.
Or any combination thereof.
So they're sitting on the fence for you. That won't upset anyone. But they'll be good. I mean, I know there's the issue with the kick-off times. I know people aren't happy with the kick-off times. I understand.
Again, that's partly to do with the television.
It's telly.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is we want coverage. We want the media to be involved.
Absolutely.
We want the media to get behind teams
100%.
and talk about it. So unfortunately, we have to do it when the TV audience is there, because otherwise no one will be watching.
Yep.
It's not going to be on anywhere else.
And when we go and renegotiate our next television deal, they'll go, "You were a bit intransigent, so we're giving you less."
So it is. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But there's nothing else on Sunday night. So watch
the Red Zone.
Red Zone. They put adverts on it now, haven't they? It's talk a lot about betting on that. It's like being over here. But good, good luck to all 14. Look forward to the grand final.
Yeah,
I'll be there. Hopefully.
No wheelchair this week.
No, because that's the week after.
No League One this week, or in fact any week.
That's the next week. It's a Dream Team announcement.
Yep. No Championship games over the weekend.
Where's all the Rugby
No
League
Super League games over the weekend. Like, so if you're going to cut the lawn, do it this week.
So if you're Egremont Rangers, so I know you keep tweeting us, so just put a game on. Just put a game on.
We like Egremont.
I don't think they'll listen to that because they're not listening to...
I want to go to Egremont.
Yeah. Well, I'll send them a message.
Well,
only
if we're wanted.
Where's the Academy Grand Final being held, lads? Says Kevin.
Headingley.
And the reserve one, or is that just the...
Oh.
No, you're not in the Academy.
No.
You can't have the Academy one as well.
Yeah, Leeds.
I thought
Leeds Warrington again.
Oh, it's Leeds Warrington.
It might be Warrington because I think Warrington finished top of the league. Right. So I believe it's at the team that finished top, so it'll be in Warrington, I would think. You
couldn't have those as double header, could you? Which is a shame.
You could.
Well, you could.
If Warrington were giving up ground advantage for the Academy.
Or the other way around, yeah. Because the reserve grand final, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it doesn't really.
It matters more to some clubs than others.
Yeah. So if you had...
The clubs that have taken it seriously have got to the final.
Well, that'd be a perfect thing to have a double header for. And people might go, especially when the same.
But I think that would mean Warrington giving up home advantage for the Academy.
And there might be players who would there be players who play in both, or you're not allowed to? I don't know.
Yeah, there will because.
So they
played alternate.
There's
weeks.
A reason for them not to be a double header, as opposed to where the women's grand final could have the Northern Championship grand final as the curtain raiser, but hasn't.
No,
I know it would have been.
You mean to delay it for three weeks then, which is not ideal either.
And it's all the fault of Warrington, and that's where we'll end the programme. Do it. And Phil's going to open the tea cakes.
Can't wait.
The tunnets. We'll be back next Monday. So we will be at the Dream Team thing.
We will. It's in the afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we might be back here with...
Yeah. Well, it says it starts at 2 for 2:30, which means everyone will be there at 1 o'clock interviewing everyone, and we'll get the dregs. Whoever's the Dream Team substitutes. And which coaches won't people want to speak to next week? Probably Wakefield and Hull, because they're likely to go out in the first. Oh, no, it can't be both of them. No. Oh, probably Dower Paul. No. We'll speak to Dower Paul.
Yeah.
I know, because West Yorkshire. So no.
I'm eating in the background. That's the rustle you can hear is the tea cake is out.
If it's in Warrington, we have to have it at the HJ instead of Vicky Park. I think it will be there. I don't think they're that stupid.
I reserve judgment.
Can I say I've got to stop calling people stupid? But anyway, that is it. So we'll be back next week from the Dream Team, where we say, where's no Warrington players? Where's all the Warrington players? Do that gif of John Travolta walking into a room. Which will look great on the podcast. So thanks for listening. Hopefully the sound issues on the YouTube sorted. Look how great the lights look now when it's dark.
It's good, isn't it?
It's good. So, such a proper studio. So we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening. Tell all your friends to download the podcast.
Oh, by the way, Huddersfield just issued a statement.
Oh, is it anything exciting?
Next year they're playing in Huddersfield. They're not going to Halifax.
Why has Ken spent all that money on the share then?
Presumably that's why they bought Ralph in.
to not
tell
move
them not to go to Halifax. Do you want me to guess up the actual word?
Well, let's bring you this breaking news. Huddersfield not in Halifax next year. Phil's halfway through his Tunnets caramel tea cake.
I've got to put it down now.
Not caramel tea cakes.
They're
Diddle. It could be 4 words saying by
like the yeah. Club statement. Read.
I might just cut off the podcast halfway through. Is it not working?
Well, unfortunately, I don't know if it's Huddersfield's website, and everybody's piling on to get the news.
All 3 people.
But no, it basically says we are staying in Huddersfield. We are continuing at the Aku Stadium,
which everyone still calls the Macau Point.
Yeah.
So that's it must be better for their AMG scores than going to Halifax. One assumes. Why don't they go to Dewsbury?
Oh, Batley, because the pies are good.
Oh, Batley, because the pies are good. On that bombshell, we'll catch you next week. Enjoy the week. I'll hopefully have some stuff for you from the Navy versus the Air Force on Thursday. But enjoy the final regular week of Super League. I'm going to go and vote for the Rugby League Writers and Broadcast Association Player of the Year. What? I'm going to say.
I'm not saying anything because I'm out full of marshmallow.
Right.